Is Nicole Judd, Associate Producer of the Grand Ole Opry. Craig Shelburne, author of the Opry 100 History Book and Photo Album. Also, Festival Producer of Americana Fest. So if you've been enjoying the panels and you've been enjoying the showcases at night and you travel around Nashville, you have Craig to thank for those incredible shows. May Estes, a wonderfully talented singer-songwriter, signed to Big Machine Records, and you're a little less than a month away from her self-titled EP being released as well. Frequent guest on the Opry, and so frequent that she was just there last night as part of Opry Country Classics. And also Grand Ole Opry star, one of the timeless voices in music. She'll be on the Opry stage tonight, not once but twice, as part of a two-show Opry. That's Mandy Barnett. Let's start with a few warm-up questions, and I'll start with you, Nicole, to talk about formatically what is the Grand Ole Opry when somebody purchases a ticket and they go to the show. What will they expect to see?
Well, I would hope they would expect to see something that they really like. So we bring together what we consider to be, the past, present, and future of country music all in a 2-hour and 15-minute period. So we'd hope that you like everything, but if you don't like what you're hearing in that particular minute, we hope that about 10 minutes later you're gonna like the next thing that you hear.
Of WSM Radio, and before we get started, I've got an attention panel moderator page to read here at the end of this.
Oh my gosh, I want to be on this stage and I want to be part of this place, and and they were all so kind to me and encouraging, and maybe we'll see you back here one day on stage. And sure enough, when I was 18 years old, I got to come back and make my Opry debut. So the Opry means the world to me.
In May, as I say newcomer, but it's hard to believe it's been 2 years since your Opry debut. It happened so quickly. It was in 2023. As a newer artist coming in and making connections with these Opry stars and finding mentors and finding this community, what is it like to come in as a new artist to see all this legacy that's in front of you?
Well, I think you can take it one of two ways, and you can be completely intimidated by it and kind of scared of it, which I think I definitely naturally was at first. You just don't know how to process it if you respect it your whole life in the way most of us do before we get to play. But I think I've played 16 times now, and over a 2-year, relationship with the Opry. And mind you, I'm also the kind of artist that even when I'm not on the bill, if I'm in town, I'm still showing up backstage because the Opry's so kind to me. I'm like, is that allowed? Am I allowed to just come hang out? And so I'm there as much as I possibly can be. And now I feel it's more of a validation for me. I am super self-conscious. Most artists are, and getting to build relationships with these legacy artists that are the reason I even know country music exists, having them stand side stage while I'm performing, or at this point let me stand in the circle with them. Vince Gill invited me to sing with him on stage. Rhonda Vincent did, last second, let me come sing harmony on something she was already doing, and just making friends. It's just an insane atmosphere that you can't recreate anywhere. There is truly no other place where the reason you started even dreaming of being in the career you're in is in the green room, the dressing room beside you, with their door wide open and smiling at you when you walk by. You don't have this kind of access to your heroes, and that's all just with the specific artist, because the Opry in general represents what my heroes believed in. And so just the establishment of the Opry, I think when you are invited to play, the Opry is putting their stamp on you, and that means a whole lot to me. So ever getting to grace that stage is important, but today, knowing that the Grand Ole Opry wants their name associated with mine at all for, a panel at Americana Fest, that's stuff I take to heart. And so I think Opry has worked so hard on their reputation and still maintaining the love of tradition, but still really working on inclusivity and staying ahead of the times and changing, because that's how you grow. They've mastered all of that somehow, so I am ecstatic to ever have anything to do with the Opry.
So you've got the Grand Ole Opry, you've got the Grand Ole Opry House, Ryman Auditorium, which is the most famous former home, which Mandy, you would have stepped into that spotlight. It would have been Ryman Auditorium. And in order to bring that energy to the Grand Ole Opry House in the mid-70s, they cut a big old circle out of that Ryman stage, brought it over to the Grand Ole Opry House, which has lived there for 50 years and weathered the storm of floods. What goes into your mind the very first time that you step into that circle on that historic wood?
Well, I was 18 years old, and I just got part of Patsy Cline and oldest Patsy Cline, and so it was everything was just kind of coming together last minute. It was this audition that just kind of fell into my lap, and so I had no idea that I was going to be performing at the Ryman Auditorium and then getting to make my Opry debut. And of course I had my family, my grandparents and my parents, and everyone was there, and it was just the greatest experience of my life, a lifelong dream fulfilled. And then they have me back, and over the last 31 years or so, I've been on somewhere around 700 times, but I'm not exactly sure how many, but quite a few, and I've loved every one of them. And it's so true what you were saying about the green room and the open doors and the just the artists that make you feel welcome. No other genre has that. I remember when Michael Feinstein made his debut, he said, I wish that we had a Grand Ole Opry where we could, have a Saturday night show with all these wonderful legends and be able to walk around and visit and collaborate, that kind of thing. It really is special.
It's one of the few genres that has that type of community.
It is. Yeah.
Nicole, the moniker, so the world's longest running radio show, and no two shows have ever been the same. That's the moniker that we carry. As a producer, an associate producer of the show, how do you keep it fresh all the time?
They keep it fresh.
But there's a lot that goes into it. Formatically, you're looking at things like Royal Albert Hall coming up, Carnegie Hall in 2026, the Opry Honors series. Talk about some of those and how those come to fruition.
Yeah, so for the past couple of years, we've been meeting and talking about, what did we want Opry 100 to be for our members and our guest artists, and what did we want that to be for fans, and how did we want to, change up and provide just like extra special moments to help celebrate this centennial anniversary for more than a year, really. I mean, we kicked it off, last year after our birthday.
October 6, 2024.
And then it was like, wait, when did we? And then it will run into next year. So we are going to do the very best that we can to celebrate 100 for as long as we can. But like Eric mentioned, we thought, how do we, one, take country music out there? And we have a couple of different places that we're going to take the show. We've been talking for the past couple of months about Royal Albert Hall, which is the first time that we've taken the Opry show international. We are very excited about that. We have some Opry members and Opry guests that are going to join us there. And then also, we just announced earlier this week some really special British friends that are going to join us on the show. So we're really stoked about that. And then we thought, well, let's take her on back up to New York to see what we can do up there. So we're going to take the show on over to Carnegie Hall. And that's going to be part of their celebration of USA 250 or America 250. So we'll be part of a festival there with some other jazz and blues and all different sorts of musical collaborations that are going to take place. But they reached out to the Opry, and then Opry Honor shows, which we have next week. You'll be there, Craig, on 9/16. We're going to honor Bill Monroe, and we'll have a great night there honoring his music. We're also going to, if anybody's in here from the Station Inn, we're also going to celebrate the Station Inn celebrating their 50th anniversary next Tuesday, because Bill Monroe was such a big part of the Station Inn and playing there, so we're going to tie those two things together. But just back to what you said, just trying to listen to fans, and we've consulted with our members and with our guests on what they would want to do and what they want to see the Opry doing over this next year. So yeah, I think we have a lot of people who work on the team, and they always have really great ideas about how to keep it fresh and how to keep it moving. And we also have members who come and tell us what they want to do to change up the show or to pull some things in that might be a little different, as well as folks like Craig who, help us out. So yeah.
And outside of the show, you'll also have things like Opry Trivia coming up as part of Opry Community Day. Or was it already up here and you were just excited to get into a book?
No, it surprised me that the Opry wasn't really even on television until 1979. like it was a PBS fundraising drive. So they decided to come in there and film the Opry, put it on PBS to raise some money, and it was a huge hit. Then they waited another year to do it, and it was a huge hit that year, and I think they did it one more time, and it wasn't on TV again until like, what, 1990s? Yeah, when TNN was around, if anybody remembers TNN. Yeah, the Nashville network, and then at that point it was just like either a 30-minute segment or a 60-minute segment of the Opry. But because of that TNN segment, that's how I came into the Opry, because I would watch it on Saturday. I spent a lot of weekends with my grandparents, and they loved TNN. My grandmother especially. God help us if Randy Travis was on the Opry that night. We're clearing the calendar. So yeah, I spent a lot of time watching the Opry, and that's how I got my country music education, because when you see it as a different host on the segments, back then an Opry singer would host a segment, they would bring out a newcomer, and TNN had a lot of reach, so you would see Clint Black and Alan Jackson, these huge stars of that era, come out and sing too. And then they'd bring Willie Cooper out there, and Jack Green would come out. And it was all stars to me. Like, I loved all of it. It didn't matter to me who was on the radio, who wasn't. I just loved the entertainment value of it. So that really surprised me how, yeah, it's a radio show, and it's just amazing that it's continuing as a radio show. As technology continues to change, it's still true to its roots, but it never just got stuck in its roots. Like, it continues to evolve.
That was going to be my next question. From both a historic perspective and from an artist perspective, how has the Grand Ole Opry endured 100 years, especially with a music business that evolves so much? And you look at the number of Opry shows or jamborees that existed, barn dances, there was one in WLS in Chicago, none of which exist anymore, but the Opry does. It's remained a constant. From a historic perspective, how has that lasted over 100 years?
That's a big question. Feel free, Mandy, may chime in if you want to. I think it has, and I don't know what the correct answer is. I can ascertain what I think it is, and I think it has a lot to do with a couple of things, and one being the people. I think the membership that we have that have been absolute stewards of this music and this history and what we're doing, I think has helped carry that and lead that charge. I think also being open to change and being willing to change it up a little bit has probably helped keep it alive for the past 100 years. And not every year has been completely successful and great for the Opry. I mean, we went through a period of time where we really had to do something a little bit different to keep it alive and keep people coming and, keep selling tickets, which is what, allows us to do what we do. So I think the people, for sure, the fans and our membership, and then also being open to change when we need to change and seek that guidance from, people who are just trying to help. And it might not be something that you want to hear about what you have to change to make sure that you stay relevant and make sure that you offer a product or something that someone's willing to put their money down to come and, see. So I think those are a couple of things. Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, I wish my colleague, my co-writer Brenda Colliday was here, because she explains it so perfectly. But you think about, if you're driving in 65, you see this WSM tower. It's a cantilever tower. It's red and white, huge tower. And so it's called the Air Castle of the South. And it would reach into Canada, and it would reach to the Midwest and down into Texas. And so suddenly it had this enormous reach that half the country could hear it. And then the Opry ended up on the Armed Forces radio network. So soldiers that were serving everywhere else that never had heard country music before were suddenly discovering it. And then the NBC radio network picked it up. And so now the Opry was like a national presence. And the other barn dances just didn't have all that momentum behind it. It was a lot of strategy. And being based in Nashville was a big part of that too, because the music industry, you can't tell the story of the Nashville music industry without incorporating the history of the Opry into it. It's easier to read about it than for me to explain it to you, but there was always people backstage pitching their songs. There were musicians coming and going, and I don't know, at the Ryman, I mean, if if you think about the Ryman back then, and even now, there weren't a lot of dressing rooms. You had to be friendly with people because there just wasn't room. Like, and I wish I'd seen an Opry at the Ryman in the 70s. I don't know about you, but I would have done anything to come. When I was writing this book, we talked to Reba and Rhonda Vincent and a variety of artists who came to the Opry when it was at the Opry House. And Warren Morgan and Pam Tillis, of course, people like that, about what it was like backstage. And it's just fascinating to think of that moment in country music history. I would have done anything to see it. But I will say, if you go to the Opry now, it's super fun. Like, it's a great show. Like, yes, the 70s was a great era, but right now, if you come to the Opry, everybody that I take to the Opry has a blast. So, yeah, it's not a museum piece. It's a living, breathing radio show, and the entertainment value is sky high, and the set design is world class right now.
The screen alone is something to crow about, because it's very similar to the Sphere out in Vegas. So the Opry, I feel like, has always kind of stayed on top of what's going on, whether, you know, regardless of what the music is, the production value is really at a high level, and the musicianship is always at a high level.
I was going to say it's kind of I mean, I would love everything to survive on just heart and tradition, like what a world. But I would give a lot of credit to the branding of the Opry also, because I mean, marketing alone, but drawing a through line of what the principles are for the Opry brand and how they've expanded to, you know, international shows at this point, but having extensive merchandise. Like, that was one of my first jobs when I moved to Nashville 10 years ago, was working in the Opry shop. And I am a horrible business person. I've been trying to fake it till I make it since I got to this town, but I am full-blown creative, heart on my sleeve. That's the part I do well. And I feel like I actually learned a lot working in the Opry shop about my own brand and trying to market my own business, because I was one of those artists that wanted to be a Dolly Parton, and I wanted music to be this gift that branched out into a lot of ways to affect a lot of people and hopefully help a lot of people in the end. And that comes with having business people part of the team as much as you have creative. So I feel like that's something I really respect about Opry is people know their strengths and people know their weaknesses, and so the team they've built is, there's a lot of creatives that keep all of that protected and make sure it's the best of the best music by all means. But there are people who are maybe not so creative innately that are still so important, because they are the ones maintaining the entertainment aspect, maintaining the financial aspect. That's a full-time job to keep stuff rolling these days, and so I really respect that side of it too.
From an artist perspective, you mentioned a good point. There have been quite a few people who have started with jobs either in retail or in security or in operations that have made their way to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Dylan Carmichael being one of those who was quoted saying, working security, I had any opportunity at any given point of the day to walk into the circle and no one stopped me. But I waited until I made it the Grand Ole Opry debut to do that. And then to go back to Mandy's comment about staying on top of things with the screen, between WSM and the Grand Ole Opry, historically, we've been on the cutting edge of technology for everything. Like Craig mentioned, Edwin Craig and the Craig family investing into radio. That's how people were starting to consume music. You think about that time, it's really the main way that people knew what was going on in the world. WSM, for people who were working in factories, were listening for that Pan-American train to drive by, so they knew when their shift was about to be over. So it's always been a common thread, both with an art form, from technology to operations. So I think everybody's answer, you blend it all together, and that creates what is the Grand Ole Opry and WSM. Well, no, just wanted to say that.
Can you tell he's in radio? He is so good at
Let's see, to the artists, have there ever been any behind the scenes moments or unexpected or unscripted moments that have happened on the stage that are very special?
Well, for me, when I was invited to become a member on my birthday, that was just the most unbelievable moment. Connie Smith came out with a card and read the card and then proceeded to invite me to become a member. And I was
did you not pass out?
I was close. I saw a couple of pictures and I could see the little birds and the stars. Oh my goodness.
That's one of I love that Opry invite so much because Mandy, I think you were truly surprised.
I was
Like,
so
Connie's
surprised.
just reading along, and it's like your typical birthday greeting, and then she goes into, and would you like to be a member? And it's just the best.
Well,
We
I
have it
had
in one of the-
birthdays at the Opry before, so it wasn't, so I wasn't expecting it. I've had cakes and flowers and,
All the things.
happy birthday, you get a cake, you don't get a membership this year.
But here's chocolate.
But
It's
don't
so
underestimate that Opry cake, because it is good.
It is good.
Well, my birthday's November 15th. I like cake and membership.
Historically speaking, with artists, I know you mentioned being invited to be a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Here more recently, there have been a lot of push for people on how they find out they're going to be performing on the Grand Ole Opry. It's just as special hearing, I'm going to be playing, to I'm going to be returning, to I've played 100 times, to now I'm a member of the Opry. May, how did you find out that you were going to be playing the Opry?
They got me too, Mandy. They're good at that. And I'm a skeptic. I'm always watching. They got me. So I worked at the Opry shop, like I said, nearly 10 years ago, and this was 2023, I guess. So the Opry works their tails off. I was just talking to Miss Lemonade about it, who keeps the entire backstage going, and I was like, sister, when are you getting a break? So they work all through the holidays, especially Christmas is a really busy time for y'all, and so they do their staff party, or they did this year in January. And so I had been invited to perform for the Opry staff at their end-of-year holiday party. And it made a lot of sense to me because I had just gotten to go meet the Opry team, recently, and I had been beating that door down since I moved to Nashville. I was like, how do I go in and tell them I'm here? At least I want them to know I'm working. But it was only a few weeks before that, and so I was definitely not thinking of an invite or anything at that point, and just made a lot of sense that they would invite me back because I was an employee at one point, and it was cool for me to get to play for some other employees. Some of them I worked with, and so it was my buddy Josh Matheny and he's been on Opry with me a ton and with a bunch of other artists, and we played probably a 5-song acoustic set for all these incredible Opry employees, and I was like, enjoy your party, thanks for all your hard work, like, hope to see y'all on the stage soon. I've always been shooting my shot. And I'm like, all right, see you. And I take off walking off the stage, probably about this size, and my buddy Josh stays up there and starts talking in the microphone. And Josh is an incredible dobro player, an incredible singer, but you don't want him talking on a microphone. He's a little bit of a loose cannon. Good Lord, who done gave Josh a microphone, and is he making a speech? What is happening? And he just said a whole bunch of really sweet stuff about me. He is one of my biggest champions and best friends, and our families had bluegrass bands back in the day. We're several generations of making music together, and he brought me to the Opry for the very first time when he was playing, and I got to stand side stage and watch. It was my first time backstage, and so the Opry knew how important he was to me and my musical journey, and so he made the ask and said, hey May, the Opry was wondering if on March 4th, if you want to make your Opry debut. And I immediately was sad because this was just kind of a corporate gig for me, so my husband wasn't there, and my manager wasn't there, and my family, and I was just like, oh no, my sweet husband has been on this journey with me. And so then he walks out around the corner, and they had my videographer there, and everything was staged. But it's so funny I never thought I would feel naturally when that moment happened, but I was like, oh no, I want to share this with all my people. That's what I cared about the most, and that's Opry. I think, so that's been my journey with Opry this whole time. I don't know how to process these kind of moments we get with Opry, but it is sharing it with that community, and that's what makes it feel less all about you and the starry, glittery part of this, industry. It's about the people. And so anyways, that was one of the most incredible moments in my life, and I was absolutely flabbergasted.
Well, the people keep you coming back. And you talk about mentorship. Somebody like Vince Gill would have been mentored by somebody like Roy Acuff. Roy would have been mentored by somebody like Uncle Dave Macon. So as the years progress, that's the common thread also, is that it's like a family, and you find your mentor. For each of you individually, who have you attached to over the years who have been your mentor from the Opry?
Well, Jeannie Seeley, of course, was a huge mentor from day one. I mean, talk about the dressing room door always being open, and she would bust your door open if it was closed and walk in and say, "Hey, girlfriend, what's going on?" And she wanted to know what was going on in your career, how you were doing. She kept in touch with you. She showed all of us how to be Opry stars. And so her number one, and then through the years, people like Don Gibson. He was, of course, a huge Opry star in the 50s and 60s. He was a mentor of mine. Archie Campbell, who painted the mural in the green room, gave me my first kind of professional job. I was 8 years old, and he had the Hee Haw Village in Pigeon Forge, and so we basically said, "I can't pay you, but you can show up every week. You can sell your gospel tapes, and you can play with a band, and we'll have you anytime." So I had people like that along the way. I worked at Dollywood for a couple of years. Dolly was amazing, and just a lot of different people throughout the years. When I needed them, it's like they were always there when I needed them, and so amazing support from a lot of country music artists, musicians, songwriters. And I know that you're getting a lot of that too, because you're wonderful, and so everyone wants to be part of your career and see it all happen.
Well, I was going to say you as my very first one. Yeah, you are, becoming one of my biggest mentors, and have been so kind and welcoming, and especially the women at the Opry, like that matters to me, and I feel like every woman there, you hear a lot of stuff in the industry about how women are catty, and there are award shows and things where the dressing room doors are not open, ladies and gentlemen. And you are not friends, and that is very clear, but oh my gosh, the women at the Opry, we truly are like, I need those shoes next time, so let's go and trade. And Jeannie definitely set me down at my debut and was like, "You better act like you're supposed to be here, because you wouldn't be if you weren't supposed to be." And like, never afraid to give you that kick in the butt to remind you that, yeah, this is terrifying and it's a lot of pressure, but you got everything it takes to step up to the plate. And but I mean, I have the longest list ever of everyone who's been so kind to me. And Vince Gill and I became friends. We've written a song together. We've sang on the stage. I can't look y'all in the face when I say that, because I don't even know what to do with it. I gotta give honorable mention to Mark Wills, has become one of my best buddies. He texted me, we played the Opry together last night, and he's like, "We're going over here to eat after if y'all want to come." I'm just like, "This Mark Wills is texting me." And he's just been so kind, and we have a Keith Whitley competition we're gonna do soon, because he thinks he loves Keith more than I do, and so maybe we add that to the trivia section, because me and Mark are ready to go at it. Rhonda Vincent, unbelievably kind. That's very intimidating when Rhonda invites you to her dressing room to jam with her and the band, and she's like, "What song do you want to sing? What key you do that in? Whichever one you want to, Rhonda." It's unbelievable. Everyone truly has been so kind and welcoming, and I credit that to those Opry principles that are just, everyone knows, that when you walk in the building, you know what's expected of you, and you are committed to that culture, or you're not a part of it.
So this group will forever be part of the Opry's 100th year. As we look ahead to the next 100 years, what are our hopes for the future, and how do we hold on to the roots of American music tied in with the Opry? Craig, you want to take that one?
Oh gosh, the future of the Opry. Thanks a lot, y'all.
That you have to have official restoration.
A restoration
for those to properly be preserved and digitized. And one of the gems that we just found was Ralph Emery interviewing Roy Acuff. So we're very, very excited to utilize WSM as a storytelling platform to hear those voices back on the radio again. Those are the things that I expect to carry into the next 100 years, is while we're still living in the present and making our own history, continuing to tell the history of the last 100. Nicole, you have anything to add there?
Well, just to tag on to what Craig said, I mean, just for me personally, like, I don't know a world without the Opry. I grew up on it, and I know pretty much everybody in this panel did. So I would hope that there continues to be, a world of Opry for many, many generations to come. And I know we're working on that with introducing the Opry to kiddos and making sure they know what it is. And these younger artists who come along that have really great, huge followings on their social media platforms, introducing them to the Opry so that they can share it with their fans. One little note about Craig's book is we also have a really fun kids book coming out next week to introduce the Opry to kids, authored by Emily Franz on our archives and content team. So yeah, I feel like that between the membership that we have and the fans that we have, I would hope that we would continue to share all the good that the Opry is for as long as I can, and then Craig and then you all continue to do it. But yeah, I feel like our fans are, we kind of have the mentality of, well, it's not going to go down on our watch, so we'll be here. No, it's fine, we'll be here.
From an artist perspective, May, what do you think about the next 100 now that we're all passing the first 100?
Well, I'm so excited to be a part of this second half and a little tail end of the first half. I am in a lot of therapy currently. Anybody else? Y'all better get in it. It's great. But in life in general right now, I'm learning it's so important to know where you come from, but it's also so important to give yourself the grace to unlearn some of those things or acknowledge that you want to do some of them differently now, and growth is change, and that's terrifying. But if you're not growing, that's kind of the worst thing ever. And so I, as a human, as an artist, everything, I'm trying to find that perfect line of knowing my history and knowing where I come from and respecting tradition and carrying it with me everywhere I go, while also growing and changing and getting better every day. And so I feel like Opry has been a really good example that that's possible, but it does take those roots, and I guess it's just how long you can grow them out, because it's a hard thing to manage. But yeah, I hope that for the Opry and myself and all of us to find that balance.
I gotta follow that? Please. There's nobody can see on this stage beside Mandy. This is Garrett Stone. Take the ribbon from my hair, shake it loose and let it fall, lay it
10 years now and started dabbling a long time ago. But Liz brought this idea and I was like, my role in the room that day was to stay out of the way. And sometimes that's the best thing you can learn as a songwriter, I think. And it is a sad old country song. And I've gotten to play it on the Grand Ole Opry a few times now, and actually all I had was a work tape of the day I wrote the song. It was just me and my guitar like you're going to hear right now, and I brought that into the Opry band, and so they played it full band for the first time. These parts didn't even exist, and I brought them a guitar vocal, and they built it out, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. So I plan to sing that with them again if they'll have me, so y'all come check it out at the Opry, but here's my version. Hey, couple in the corner booth, y'all should get a room or take it outside. Take your butterflies and your starry eyes and your Miller Lights and run for your lives. Hey, buddy, sitting all alone, wearing cheap cologne, bet you came here to dance. Waiting on a song and a pretty blonde, sure the night is young, but there ain't no chance. Bless all your unbroken hearts. I think y'all picked the wrong bar. I ain't feeling friendly, I ain't feeling funny. I'm here to give misery a run for its money. Drink after drink, and quarter by quarter, a tear at a time, no particular order. You're going down with me if you're here tonight, 'cause I'm about to make the Jews